So today I want to talk about the anxious attachment cycle and the 5 steps that you may find yourself looping through when you have anxious attachment and why the advice of just communicate better isn't going to cut it. So I want you to first and foremost understand that when you have anxious attachment style, you meet your triggers very differently than someone with secure attachment style. And when we stay stuck meeting our triggers from an anxious place, we stay stuck in this anxious attachment loop. So, step one in this cycle is the trigger. There is an external event that happens that triggers you. Maybe they seem distant or they are less responsive, they're being inconsistent, they are withdrawing. And their inconsistency triggers you. It triggers your anxiety. It triggers your panic. It triggers you to worry. It triggers you to feel that pit in your stomach, right? And so when that trigger happens, we have the response of a certain perception. That's step two, perception. You have a perception of their behavior. You automatically come to a thought. You may think they're losing interest. I did something wrong. What's wrong? What can I do to fix this? I must have made a mistake. I must have upset them. They're mad at me. They're losing interest. You automatically have a thought in response to that initial trigger. Then the third step inside of this cycle is an emotion, right? You have the panic, the overwhelm, the fear, the unworthiness feeling, the disappointment, the sadness. And then, because of these perceptions, these thoughts, and these feelings, we immediately move to step four, which is a behavior, right? We overanalyze, we text a certain text, or maybe we rewrite a text message 20 times. We perhaps seek their reassurance. We people please. We try to fix it. We try to be the best version of ourselves so that they like us again. We try to figure out, how can I get this person back? That is the crux of step four inside of this cycle. And then step five is an outcome. Perhaps we get their attention, right? We get the text. They show interest in us. They come back around. We go on a date, or they forgive us and the conflict is over. And this temporarily provides relief, right? But the problem here is that what happens if they're mad again or they start to pull away again, right? The loop continues. We're back to the trigger. We're back to step one. And we have again the negative thought, which leads to an uncomfortable emotion, which leads to a behavior, and which leads to an outcome again. The problem here is that the outcome, the relief when we're anxiously attached, that feeling of relief is dependent on the other person. It's dependent on the other person coming back, showing approval, validating us, offering us reassurance. It's dependent on them texting us or wanting to go out on a date or be in a relationship with us. When we are anxiously attached, the reason we stay stuck in this cycle is because our ability to feel calm is dependent on them. We have outsourced our emotional security to somebody else. We have given somebody else the keys to our peace. You cannot continue to live like this and expect to feel secure within yourself. And the reason why the idea of, well, if I just communicate better, then things will get better. The problem with that is when we are anxiously attached, usually when we're thinking about, well, how do I communicate? We're focused on, how do I get them to understand? How do I get them to change? How do I explain myself in the best way to get them to change or be who I want them to be or come back around? Our communication is even focused more on them and how to make the relationship work. It's not really focused on us. It's not really focused on what we're really feeling, because we're kind of pushing aside our feelings because we don't really want to rock the boat. And communication is ultimately just a form of, how do I get them to come back? So when we talk about just communicate better, when we're anxiously attached, really that's what we're focused on. We're not really focused on communicating what we really think and need and feel. and just seeing how they respond and then taking it from there based on their response, because their response is really going to give you all the information that you need. But when we're anxiously attached, we don't want the response that means the end of the relationship or that means we're not a match. But when we are more secure, we just want to hear what their response is and then use that information to decide, is this person compatible with me? When we're anxiously attached, we don't want to risk any form of the relationship ending. We don't want to accept the reality that perhaps this person is not or cannot be what I need. And so I just need to move on and find a more compatible partner. That isn't even an option in our brains when we're anxiously attached. So this is why we stay stuck in this cycle when we're anxiously attached of frustration and overwhelm and confusion and always seeking clarity, because our ability to feel how we want to feel is outsourced and dependent on them. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about the secure response. What can we start to do instead to cultivate our own sense of security within and get out of this anxious loop? So I will see you in the next video.